Sure. I'm currently the curriculum, which is 11 to 18 mixed, rural, comprehensive, situated sort of equidistant between Leeds and York. I've been teaching, so I trained in 2007-8 academic year. I've mainly taught in the north of England in schools in Leeds, and I've since branched out to North Yorkshire, although I started my first job was actually down in Birmingham at an all-girls grammar school down there. And I've been head of history at Sherborne since September 2018, but I've done a number of other roles in schools as well, sort of in other capacities before.
Oh, thank you, Chris. So I'm really looking forward to hearing your views because you've got a wide range of experience and you've been in the game for a long time. And Arthur, I believe you're here with us. Oh, okay, maybe not. Okay, so Arthur and Josh will join us later on. So, Chris, I believe that you've had a look within the research review. So, what has been your initial thoughts? What has stood out to you the most within the review before I go into chapter by chapter?
Yeah, so I think that fundamentally, I think it's a very positive ways. I think it's a very helpful document for heads of history and for history teachers. I don't find it too prescriptive. I don't think what we've got is a document where Ofsted are saying this is how it must be done. I acknowledge on a previous Teachers Talk radio show that I think Sean Harford had been on, or somebody like that from Ofsted, and had said that we're not going to use these to inspect schools as such, although clearly I would imagine that there'd be some expectation that people were at least familiar with the contents of the review. I think one of the things that's interesting is the challenge that this and the other research reviews will pose for senior leaders in schools, and the significantly higher expectations that are being had of senior leaders to really understand curriculum in a way that I certainly don't think was there when I started teaching. I think curriculum for a long time was seen as the timetable and doing the options for GCSE and A-level. And I think now there's a clear expectation, and I think you can really see like the hand of Christine Council potentially in a lot of this. That and if you've read any of her blogs about curriculum leadership in schools and senior curriculum leadership, that expectation that senior leaders have to be really on top of the
us talk about how generic practice and generic policies, especially from senior leadership or school-wide policies, can become a detriment to the uniqueness within the discipline of history, which I found really helpful.
Absolutely. It's great for heads of history to sort of and I think we sort of
because you know, when I've been revamping the curriculum, I've been heavily focused on Key Stage 3, and I had to kind of, you know, give myself a wake up call and say, actually, there has to be a progression model. So I think that there's been a huge focus on Key Stage 3, and sometimes we kind of neglect within the curriculum conversations, also Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5, you know, the exam years. So my question, I'll start off with Arthur, then Josh, and then Chris. How can teachers, you know, select knowledge to place within the curriculum? I'll pose that question to Arthur.
Thank you, Emily.
Yeah,
that's a big question.
Yeah.
I guess before you start making choices about what knowledge you're going to select, I think it's helpful to think about types of knowledge.
Wow. Yeah.
Question: what is knowledge? And we've had, you know, a lot of debates over the years. And we tend to swing between problematic positions quite a lot. So, you know, not long ago, I can remember, let's say, around about 2008, 2009, when there was a lot of emphasis on the idea that curriculum should be about competencies, and, you know, we should break out of subject silos. That was one of the phrases people used a lot. And we should focus on competencies and general skills and things. It was actually quite difficult to get a lot of head teachers to see the value of subject expertise, you know. So one threat that head history teachers have to deal with and have dealt with over the years has been the dismissal, if you like, of the things that we really prize, which is knowledge of the past. You know, there's been this notion that all you need are 21st century skills and good access to Google, and you know, you can sort the world out without any kind of knowledge at all.
Yeah.
So one concern is the notion that you know, knowledge doesn't matter, and hopefully that isn't something that we worry about now.
Yeah.
A very helpful report, I think, from Ofsted that is really all about celebrating historical knowledge. So, you know, a big up Ofsted, that's great, and really encouraging compared to where we might have been, you know, 10 years ago maybe, or 12 years ago, or something like that. So yeah, what do we mean by knowledge? The opposite position, if you like, the competency one says all you need are general skills and access to the internet, as it were. The opposite of that is a view that says all you need is lots of information, and we don't want to talk about skills at all, you know. And we've had some of that more recently, I think. So what's wrong with that, and how do we think about knowledge? Yeah, I think what's wrong with that is it ignores the fact that history is a way of understanding the world, a way of asking questions, a way of building arguments, a way of coming to understand concepts. So I'd want to say that question one, when you're asking about knowledge selection, and I'll come to the point here, is what do we mean by knowledge? And I think what we mean by that is we want kids to know a lot about the world in the past, the world of the past.
Yeah.
A lot about how we come to understand that, and how we can make knowledge and make arguments, and things like that. So that there are two dimensions, at least, to knowledge, which the report helpfully calls the disciplinary and the substantive. And I think you'd want to start by focusing on those, making sure you didn't just have one.
Yeah, thank you so much, Arthur. I like the fact that you said we first have to actually define what is knowledge. Thank you. Josh, how would you are a second in charge working with your HOD, so how would you go about selecting knowledge for your curriculum at Key Stage 3 all the way up to Key Stage 5 if you have a Key Stage 5?
Yeah, no, firstly, I'd like to agree with Arthur, and I think, you know, the discussion around what is knowledge is very important. But in my role as, deputy head or responsible, I'm mainly responsible for Key Stage 3, really. Our aim is to kind of look at their historical journey. So we need to ask ourselves, what kind of, first order concepts and things do they need to come across? Are they going to study in Key Stage 4? What kind of first order concepts and whatnot are they going to study in Key Stage 5? So I think, for example, communism is something that our year 10s look at. So they look at communism when looking at the Weimar Republic. So one of the things we're looking at doing is, okay, we need to introduce into concepts such as communism. So we're looking at introducing them to a Bolsheviks unit at after World War One in year 9, because looking through the guidance, and it was amazing, and I was really happy because what they basically were recommending, the things that history teachers have been doing for quite a long time, really. It's making sure that we provide our students with the opportunities to, constantly come across or come into contact certain first order concepts, and by bringing them into contact with those first order concepts and making it more accessible at key stage 4 and key stage 5. So concepts such as communism, trade, invasion, monarchy, kingdom. And so so like I said, what I like to try and do is I like to try and look at, okay, what topics are you offering at key stage 5? What topics are you offering at key stage 4? And what kind of knowledge or first order concepts are crucial for them to unpick? And I think one thing that's very important, which the recommendation points out, you're not going to cover all of them explicitly. Some of them are going to be implicit. So in our